grave situation in Avdiivka, Kharkov, destruction of mercenary base. It is highly likely that Russia could soon launch a new attack on Kharkov. Last night, Russia continued missile strikes on military targets in Kharkov and Kryvyi Rog, including warehouses and troop deployment points. According to the Rybar channel, among the targets was the Park Hotel. Ukrainian media also confirmed that Russian S-300 missiles hit this hotel, injuring 13 people, including a Turkish journalist. The first strike destroyed the front facade, and the next strike demolished the interior of the hotel. Although Kiev strictly censors casualty information, they were forced to acknowledge that Turkish citizens they called journalists were seriously injured. According to Russian intelligence, the Park Hotel was the residence of experts and foreign mercenaries assisting Ukraine in gathering and analyzing information. This foreign group was also involved in psychological warfare activities and training Ukrainian soldiers. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Ignat said Russia often attacks Kharkov with S-300 missiles and admits Ukraine does not have enough means to shoot them down. He said, "It is obvious that we do not have enough resources to shoot down the thousands of S-300 missiles that Russia currently has in stock. So the best way is to destroy these launchers at the place where the missiles are launched from. We need to have powerful enough weapons with high accuracy to destroy the S-300 artillery units that Russia has deployed along the current front line. It seems the Russians are making daily efforts to attack Kharkov, which is very meaningful for Russian residents living in the border area, who want the military to quickly create a safe buffer zone against Ukraine's terrorist attacks." Meanwhile, on the southern flank towards Avdiivsky, small Russian assault groups advanced into the village of Peril. At the same time, there is information that a special NATO mercenary unit is present there, and Russian troops have responded with artillery fire, forcing this group to flee. 2 weeks ago, also in the night battle near Pervomaisky village, Russia defeated an English-speaking unit trying to attack their positions. Currently, the attacks of both sides are localized and small-scale, with both shifting to artillery, missile, and drone warfare. After 3 major Russian attacks at the end of last year, much interesting information has been revealed in recent days. Russia's patient strategy confronts Ukraine's daring tactics. Large-scale aerial battle has unfolded between the Russian aerospace forces and the Ukrainian Air Force. On the night of 12/29, Russia launched an unprecedented air offensive campaign targeting Ukraine's rear, including the use of UAV decoys along with ballistic missiles and culminating in Kinzhal hypersonic missiles. As a result, Ukraine's air defenses became overloaded and quickly exhausted. However, on the Ukrainian side, they have also carried out tit-for-tat strikes on Crimea using swarms of UAVs and a DM-160 MALD decoy missiles to overwhelm Russian air defenses, allowing real combat missiles to hit their targets. The Rybar channel reported that Ukraine has adopted new tactics. Before launching a combined attack, Ukrainian aircraft took off and landed at the same spot multiple times. During those repeated takeoffs and landings, MiG-29 and Su-27 fighters launched a DM-160 EMALD decoy missiles, while Su-24M attack aircraft-fired Storm Shadow missiles. Before firing the Storm Shadows, Ukraine also simultaneously launched 5 Beaver UAVs along the West Crimean coast near Novofedorovka for reconnaissance, but they were shot down by Russian air defenses. The purpose of this tactic is to suppress Crimea's air defense systems. The decoys are displayed like real missiles, allowing Kiev to fool Russian air defense systems and identify the location and reaction times. At the time when Ukrainian fighter jets were performing repeated wing-down maneuvers and launching decoy missiles to distract Russian air defenses in Crimea, Kiev also attempted to carry out a Neptune missile attack on Cape Tarkinkut or Yevpatoria, but it was shot down by a Russian MiG-31 fighter jet. Clearly, both sides are applying new tactics to deceive the enemy. It seems Ukraine is also reaping some minimal results with NATO's help, but the ultimate outcome is what we need to discuss. Ukraine employs ruses. Russia catches on. We begin with the leaked image allegedly from Ukraine's automated air situation data collection and analysis software called Viraj Planchet. The leak on the evening of January 8th sparked lively debate in online communities about Ukraine's potential comprehensive monitoring of all Russian aircraft in the special military operation. According to commentary from the fighter-bomber account, the purple circles represent airbases, the white lines indicate runways. The red squares belong to Russia and the blue ones to Ukraine. Notably, the tablet shows 3 Ukrainian aircraft near the Dnieper and some in western Ukraine, many of which could be helicopters. It is unclear whether this leak was accidental or deliberate to intimidate the Russians, since the map shows Ukraine having more operational aircraft than it actually does. Last year, Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuriy Ikhnat warned Telegram account holders that screenshots of Viraj Planchet detailing real-time movements of Russian planes circulated widely online amounted to declaring secrets to the enemy and a crime against the Ukrainian military. If these leaked visuals are authentic, they demonstrate how sophisticated the NATO-backed Ukrainian intelligence and reconnaissance capabilities are. The images could also confirm January 5 the reports that a Russian MiG-30 patrol aircraft successfully intercepted a Ukrainian Neptune anti-ship missile launched from the Odessa outskirts. Additionally, another Ukrainian missile was shot down 31 km northwest of the Crimean Peninsula's Cape Tarkhankut. This means Russia had deployed MiG-30S and A-50 aircraft for maritime patrols. Ukraine's imagery reveals the density of aerial surveillance, and Russian air defense systems have performed excellently in repelling enemy attacks. Additionally, Russian media reported air defenses shot down the entire volley of Shaykh Vampire multiple rocket launchers in the Belgorod region. Observers surmise Russia likely used the Panzer system for the interception. Recent reporting referenced upgrades to Russia's latest Panzer systems, allowing them to counter more target types and optimize performance across various operational situations. The radar works more efficiently, noise resistance is higher, and small UAV detection capabilities are enhanced. In summary, over the past week, Russian air defenses thwarted every type of weapon system Ukraine had boasted about. Of course, we cannot read about this information in Ukrainian media, but from what Ukraine openly confirms, we can assess their air defenses have become extremely precarious. As of January 8th, Ukraine only destroyed 18 out of 51 Russian missiles. Most notably, Ukraine has admitted they did not shoot down any Kinzhales or Iskander hypersonic missiles, while just days prior the Chief of the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces, General Zaluzhny, had claimed 10 out of 10 Kinzhales were intercepted, a 100% successful interception rate. Still, Kiev could not hide the footage captured by Ukrainian civilians showing Kinzhal hits on target, evidenced by the destruction of several major defense facilities across Ukraine. Meanwhile, famous Ukrainian journalist Butusov reported Russia's recent missile strikes on Ukrainian weapons factories killed dozens. The journalist also noted dozens of ambulances transported casualties to Lviv's military hospital after those missile attacks. Kiev authorities have kept completely silent about the incident, further confirming Russia successfully struck important Ukrainian targets, proving the victims were not civilians but experts in armaments factory workers. There is information that all 50 workers of the Artem missile plant in Kiev were wiped out by 2 Kinzhal missiles during their shift. The lucky survivors were late for work that day due to subway electric outages in Kiev. A woman whose nephew died while working at the Artem plant complained President Zelensky's administration is covering up information about the losses. Former commander of Ukraine's Special Forces, General Krivonos, also implicitly confirmed this data by stating Ukraine has lost its most powerful missile production facilities while criticizing that no one takes responsibility for the damage. In summary, Russia's winter offensive campaign has gained intensity, inflicting heavy losses on Ukraine's skilled weapons manufacturing workforce, a very important resource for assembling drones and homemade missiles. This is one of the few areas Ukrainians can carry out domestically. Additionally, Polish media reported Russia's H-47 missile destroyed 2 American NAS/AMSAAs, 8 defense systems, and 1 Patriot battery. The Financial Times recently verified Russia's increasingly dominant position in electronic warfare. The article primarily tells us what Ukrainian soldiers have repeatedly mentioned from the front lines. One Ukrainian soldier bemoaned the lack of EW protection for his unit, which was largely wiped out during weeks of intense bombardment on the Eastern Front, with Russian drones hitting us like mosquitoes. While the paper states Ukraine has found weaknesses in Russia's electronic warfare coverage area, allowing its drones to strike deep into Russian territory, including the Kremlin, it also acknowledges Kiev's disadvantage. The article points out Russia's POL-21 electronic warfare system can be ground-based or vehicle-mounted, jamming signals within a 150 km range. Another Russian system called Murmansk uses antenna towers mounted on armored mobile vehicles. Both can scramble GPS signals within hundreds of kilometers, rendering American JDAM missiles and rocket launchers useless. However, these electronic warfare systems have no effect on Ukraine's tiny FPV drones, as they fly too low to be caught on radar. Only electronic warfare systems near the front lines can jam them. India reveals Ukraine's secrets to Russia. President Zelensky is currently on a diplomatic tour of the Baltic states. Yesterday, he met with the president of Estonia and claimed Russia is using North Korean ballistic missiles to attack Kiev. Zelensky made this statement insinuating Russia is trying to replenish its arsenal with the help of other nations. In response, Estonian President Alar Karis pledged a €1.2 billion aid package to Ukraine through 2027 to provide better weapons. He also urged European allies to increase their own military production capabilities and lift restrictions on arms supplies to Ukraine. President Karis' statement comes as the U.S. still deliberates on whether to provide Ukraine with weapons capable of striking the Crimea Bridge. The range of ACMS missiles the U.S. has transferred to Ukraine is currently limited to 165 km, while Germany refuses to supply 500 km range Taurus missiles over escalation fears. But most worrying to the Kiev regime is the stubbornness of the U.S. Republican Party, now working to delay 2024 aid to Kiev, with GOP members increasingly desiring U.S. detachment from the Ukraine conflict. The fiercely intense debate yesterday between 2 Republican presidential candidates, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, drew attention from American and European audiences. During the debate, candidate Ron DeSantis voiced opposition to continued U.S. sponsorship of Ukraine, while harshly criticizing Haley for wanting to sustain aid packages. DeSantis labeled Haley's stance on Ukraine a copy of President Biden. According to CNN Florida Governor, DeSantis stressed America needs to find ways to end the war in Ukraine in order to focus on national security issues like confronting China. Governor DeSantis, known to share similar views with former President Trump, called aiding Ukraine a United Nations way of thinking, criticizing the hawkish stance of defending Ukraine against Russia as the actions of globalists. Meanwhile, on the Russian side, they are garnering major diplomatic successes, especially with staunch backing from India, the world's most populous country. Bloomberg reported on January 9 that Saudi Arabia recently hosted another round of talks on Ukraine after the failed Jeddah negotiations last summer. Notably, this discussion was kept entirely confidential from the press, and Russia was not invited. Reportedly, India, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey continued pressing Ukraine and G7 states to initiate peace talks with Russia during the meeting. The paper also revealed these 3 countries and other Global South nations refused to sanction Russia. Meanwhile, Russian outlet Sputnik reported that Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was actually the first to disclose this supposedly secret summit in a late December interview, stating, "Given our good relations with Global South countries, I can say a meeting took place 10 days ago. It was held in complete secrecy. No news agencies reported on the meeting. There were no leaks." But our allies and close associates attended and did not commit to keeping secrets from us on issues related to Russia. Although Bloomberg did not provide a full list of attendees at the hush-hush mid-December talks, it emphasized the presence of three major countries friendly toward Russia, while noting Brazil, China, and the UAE were absent from the latest round. One can surmise either India, Saudi Arabia, or Turkey were the parties leaking details to Russia. Considering recent facts, India likely fulfilled that role given their decades-long strategic partnership and close personal ties between leaders Putin and Modi. Additionally, the Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar visited Russia just last week. Subsequently, F.M. Lavrov praised their amicable relations during a press briefing. We sincerely appreciate our Indian colleagues for their efforts to apply a responsible approach to discussing and resolving regional and global issues in accordance with the principles of fair and equal international cooperation. This approach is exemplary of India's perspective on developments in Ukraine and around this conflict. With Foreign Minister Lavrov's admission, we can conclude India definitely shared secrets about Ukraine negotiations and would be most willing to disclose anything compared to other Russia-friendly nations. Notably, India is also an ally within American-led alliances, including the Quad. The unprecedented India-Russia strategic cooperation, despite Western propaganda about Indian exploitation of Russia, signifies the trust both leaders have fostered.